Even today, the wind stands still by the banks of the Phra Khanong Canal in Thailand when one name is uttered, Mae Nak. It is not just a ghost story. It is a tale of love that even death could not stop. When love transforms into revenge, one must tell the most terrifying true story of Thailand. A local Somshai from there will tell you that true story of Thailand.
My name is Songchai. I am a descendant of an ancient family from the blood-soaked banks of the Phra Khanong Canal in Bangkok. The story began in the mid-19th century when everyone knew Thailand as Siam. By the banks of the canal, in a small rotting hut, lived a happy couple, Nak and her husband Mak. Their love was like a fairy tale, but that happiness did not last long. An order came from the royal family of Siam. War had broken out at the border. Mak must go to war. Nak was pregnant at that time. At the time of farewell, with tearful, hollow eyes, Mak promised his beloved wife, "I will come back for you and our child. I will definitely come back." While Mak was fighting death amidst cannonballs and the clanking of cold swords, here in the silent, suffocating night of Phra Khanong, Nak's labor pain began. In those times, there were no hospitals, only darkness. On a violent, stormy night, while riding in pain alone, Nak died while giving birth to her child. But her soul refused to leave the body because her husband's words were etched in her rotting mind. "I will come back." In Thai culture, it is believed if a woman dies while pregnant, which we call Tai Thang Klom, she turns into the most powerful and terrifying spirit. Nak died indeed, but her unfulfilled soul began to wait for her husband in that very hut. When the villagers passed by, they would hear a mournful, inhuman cry and the sound of a cradle swinging. Yet there was no one inside the house. But the real terror began then when one morning, by the bank of the canal, it was seen, having finished the war, Mak was returning. When Mak returned from the battlefield and stepped onto the bank of the Phra Khanong Canal, a strange silence descended over the whole village. The villagers were cowering in fear seeing him. No one wanted to talk to him. But Mak was not in a state to notice those things. In his eyes was then only the face of his beloved wife, Nak. When he ran and reached the hut, he saw Nak standing there with their small child in her arms, just as beautiful as before, just as smiling as before. Mak was overwhelmed with joy and embraced her. Mak did not know that the one he was holding, her body was actually cold as ice. He did not know that his lovely child was actually a shadow. A supernatural household began. During the day, Nak would do the housework, and at night they would watch the moon together. But the people of the village became terrified seeing this sight. Whenever Mak's old friends went to tell him the truth, disaster would strike. Mae Nak's soul had realized that the villagers wanted to take away her happiness. After that began that procession of mysterious deaths. Those who wanted to warn Mak, some of them were found dead by the bank of the canal in the morning. Someone's body lay blue by the side of the forest. Nak loved her husband so much that she could not tolerate anyone third between them. The villagers closed their mouths in fear. When Mak would hear someone's crying sound in the house next door or get some strange bad smell, then Nak would keep him distracted with sweet words. But can the truth remain hidden? One day, Mak noticed Nak's eyes are not like before. There are no blinks occurring there. In the darkness of night, when Mak would try to sleep, then he could hear as if someone is moving very fast around the house. but on looking, he would see no one. Gradually, Mark began to understand. Was he actually staying with a human? The poison of doubt had started to take root in Mark's mind indeed, but that the truth would be so terrifying, he had not even imagined. That day was extremely sultry. Mark was preparing dinner in the kitchen, and Mark was resting, sitting on the veranda. Suddenly, a lemon slipped from the hand from the upper floor and fell down. Mark thought he himself would pick it up, but what he saw, his blood turned cold seeing that. Mark saw, from inside the kitchen, Mark's hand has started to become miraculously long. From the upper floor, that hand descended to the ground floor, winding like a snake, and picked up the lemon lying on the ground and went up again. Can a human's hand be several feet long? Mark stood stunned. His body started to sweat. He realized what the villagers were saying is true. He was all this time living a household life with a corpse. Trembling in fear, Mark decided he must escape. But escaping by avoiding Mark's gaze was almost impossible. Mark, being clever, made a hole under an earthen pot and started to spend time pretending to urinate there so that Mark could not understand he was running away. Finding the opportunity, he ran towards the forest. When Mark realized Mark had known the truth and was leaving her, then her calm face in a moment assumed a hideous form. Mark screamed and chased towards the forest. That sky-piercing scream of hers was making the entire Paranormal Canal tremble. Mark went and took shelter in a Buddhist temple. While Mark was trembling inside the temple, Mark was then standing outside the boundary of the temple, trying to catch him by extending her long hand. Her cry then turned into a roar of revenge. She was saying repeatedly, "Mark, you gave me your word. Death cannot separate us." A story of immortal love turned into a terrifying battle that night. Even though Mark took shelter inside the temple, that unfulfilled soul of Mark had turned the entire Paranormal village into hell. She was so desperate to get her husband back that she was bringing down her curse upon the common people of the village. Finally, the most influential monk in the history of Thailand, Somdej Tho, came forward. He tried to calm Mark's soul with his spiritual power. It is said monk Somdej Tho had cut a piece of bone from Mark's forehead and imprisoned her soul in it. He gave Mark his word. In the next life, she will meet Mark again. A waist belt was made with that piece of bone, which was preserved with the Thai royal family for a long time. In this way, that terrifying rampage of Mark calms down. But does the incident end there? Even today, if you go to the Wat Mahabut temple in Bangkok, you will see there is a huge statue of Mae Nak there. Thai people believe Mark lives in that temple even today. If you go there, you will see a strange sight. Kept in front of the statue are small child's toys, beautiful Thai dresses and mirrors. Those who do not want to join the army, they come here even today and make a vow, because Mae Nak herself cannot tolerate separation. The most mysterious matter is the temple attendants claim the real hair attached to the statue's head and the fingernails of the hands supposedly grow with time. Many tourists have claimed at midnight around the temple they have seen a long-haired woman pacing.
How did you like this terrifying true story? Please let us know by commenting. Your opinions help us to improve our next videos further. That is all for today. We'll see you again very soon with some other new spine-chilling incident. If you are new to our channel, then subscribe right now and stay with us by giving a like to the video, because your every like and subscribe encourages us to find out more terrifying true stories and bring them before you.